How's it going, everyone? I'm Contemption, and today we're going to talk about Pelagius. I think he's a fantastic cavalry commander for early game. As an epic, he is fantastic. I've used him in open field many times, and I would use him again. So let's go over his civilization, his skills, his talent tree, and his equipment. Equipment I suggest, because I don't really have great cavalry gear early game that I could show you, but we'll go over it in the blacksmith. But let's get through the intro, and here we go. Okay, so I really like Pelagius. I'm going to talk about his civilization first. And I was actually surprised. We got a couple new migrants in recently. It's been fantastic. We're in between Season Conquest KVKs right now. And somebody very strong with a lot of kills, more kills than I have, better commanders than I have, is using Spain. And I could not figure it out. I was scratching my head and trying to figure out, okay, why is he using Spain? There's got to be a reason. And then I thought to myself, well, what is the special unit? So if you look, Pelagius, I wouldn't start with him as a civilization. You can get him from gold keys. You'll unlock him. You'll be able to get him expertise if you're using your universal epic commander sculptures for him, which I think he is worth it. I'll go over the skills in a minute. He's not offering a lot from the civilization. So it's increased cavalry defense by 5%, which is nice. Experience gained from barbarians and other neutral units, which means guardians, which is pretty strong, is 10%, and resource production by 20%. I don't think that's very significant. Maybe somebody's done the math and it's actually really good, but I don't think it's very good. But anyways, the special unit is something that caught me off guard. So these are my special units. Obviously, I got nothing on them, but this is what it does. So it gives 12 points to your attack. These are your base points for attack. 12 is pretty strong, and that is why the T5 player that I saw with Spain has it, is that he's gone really hard on attack, including having Greatest Glory on some of his marches that have a lot of attack from commander skills, and apparently he does fantastic. So he's obviously onto something. I was very surprised to see Spain. Typically you'll see either Arabia or Ottoman Empire, just because of the skill damage. It works on everybody and the march speed. Byzantium, I think some people have that. I probably said that wrong. Sorry if I butchered that name. People probably have that as well, but typically I see Arabia just because damage dealt by rallied armies is 5%. That's damage dealt. That's all damage. It's very strong, including the attack on here. But I don't know. What do they get? They get a little bit of attack and a little bit of health, which I think is actually really strong. So I would still myself go for Arabia, but this guy has Spain. He's got a lot of kills, and he clearly knows what he's doing. So take that with a grain of salt. Use it how you want to. There's a time and a place for attack, and clearly he knows where that time is, and that's what he's going with. But okay, let's go over his skills. Now, I think Pelagius is fantastic. What I did a long time ago for KVK Season 2, I'm talking quite a while ago, is I was using Pelagius as a primary to hide Mina behind him. And this worked really well. I've also hidden Baibars behind Pelagius, and that worked really well. People ignore Pelagius. Yes, he's an easy target, so you will get the T5 who swarm you just because they know they're going to get good trades. But a lot of the time, they're focused on other commanders. You know, anybody out there with what's in KVK Season 2. With an actual Mina up front would be a target, or Double C as a primary commander, or Edward when you start getting out there. They're going to go for those instead because they know they're dealing good damage. But Pelagius can deal a lot of damage, and he hides. He hides the commander behind him very well, and he's got the skill tree to cast off those skills quickly. So his primary is not a whole lot of damage, but it's not terrible. It's 300 damage factor to the target, then deals additional damage per second. So for 2 seconds. So that really comes up to 900 damage factor, which is really strong, and 100 rage after use. So he's getting rage from this primary going off. He's getting quite a bit of damage. It works really well. He also gets 15% increased attack and 15% increased defense. This is from his expertise, so we don't have to go over that. Like I've said on other videos with Sun Tzu and Yulji, don't worry about the garrison skill. Don't use these commanders as garrisons. Don't take rallies from enemy players. Only take it from Shadow Legion. That's it. Do not use epic commanders on your wall for anything other than Shadow Legion. Otherwise, you're just going to get completely wrecked. And especially don't use them in flags. Not that this works with flags. I don't think so. No, your own city. So it only works for your own city. But he also has a little bit of healing. It's not great, but it's a 900 healing factor, but it's a 10% chance. But it could cast non-stop by the looks of it. So the attacks of troops led by this commander have a 10% chance to heal a portion of slightly wounded units, a healing factor of 450, every second for 2 seconds. That's where the 900 comes from. And it doesn't say this could happen only once every 5 seconds or once every 10 seconds. It looks like it could just keep going. I've never tested it, but I've always had success using Pelagius as a primary commander. Now let's go over his talent tree. So this is a talent tree that I used a very long time ago. I don't think I would use it again. I think we know Feral Nature is not the best talent tree to go after anymore. So let's make a new one. What's this? That's kind of the same thing. Let's reset it. Okay, so I would go for the Rejuvenate. Yes, it's probably going to be wasted on your primary skill for Pelagius because he's already getting Rage. But it will work for your secondary commander when he casts his skill. So you'll get the 60 there. Latent Power does work on this commander. It's been confirmed. So I would 100% suggest getting that. I would go up to each corner of this talent tree. I don't think it's worth it to go for Rallying Cry. Increase all damage dealt by 3%. It obviously goes up to 15% during the first 10 seconds after entering battle. You're likely not even going to cast your primary skill in the first 10 seconds. It usually casts on the 10th second spot. You might get it a little bit earlier, but I don't think it's worth it. Then it's gone. It's useless. I would rather go for stats that are going to be there all the time, reducing skill damage. I would then go, can we get this? We can get it, but it's only going to be 1. But it is on the secondary commander, and if you were using Mina as a secondary, that's definitely strong. You might even want to pull some of the stats out of Disarm and actually put it into here. Let's do that quickly. Let's go here, up to 4. Let's go to this one, and this is what I would do. We'll do that at 2. You can kind of change it however you want, but what you're going to want is definitely the Rage, and you're going to want the Latent Power, and then you can get this, and it will affect the secondary commander's skill. And if you're using Mina, or even Double C, which you can use for sure, or Baibars, man, that's going to help a lot. But there you go. There's the talent tree. I don't suggest going for this anymore. I would just go for this. You could do this, and you know what? It might really work well. But I think with the rage cap and how much rage he's already getting, especially from his skill, and if you're using Double C as well, he's going to give you a bunch of rage from... where is it here? Right here. His 4 skill. If you have him expertise, probably won't. You'll probably have him at like 5, 1, 1, 1. But he's still very good. You can use a lot of people behind Pelagius if you're trying to hide. Or you can use Pelagius behind a lot of other commanders. He's a very good commander. If you're running around in zone 4 of the enemy and you're running, Double C with Windswept and, some decent gear because you're running really quickly, you can definitely use Pelagius as a secondary. It's going to give you more rage. It's going to give you some more healing. Honestly, it's very strong, especially if you don't have Mina, because Double C comes from Gold Key, so you can definitely get him at 5, 1, 1, 1 pretty quickly. And if you spend the stars, you can get him to level 60, not too. It doesn't take too long, but it is kind of a pain in the butt. But if you don't have Mina, then you could definitely run that. But play around with it. Honestly, if you have Pelagius, I would highly suggest trying Baibars as a secondary. Baibars is fantastic, and I will do a video on him shortly. He is a glass cannon. He dies quickly. When people see him, they swarm him because he's very strong. But there you go, guys. That is Pelagius. Okay, let's talk about equipment. Now, I'm going to show you in here, just because I don't have a lot of cavalry equipment forged on this account. I'm infantry and archers. I've got a little bit like Windswept, and I have a Saladin who's kind of geared up, but it's not really that great. But Vanguard, 100%, and we'll scroll down to the bottom of the sets because that's where it sits. The Vanguard set is super strong, honestly overpowered for being early kingdom. If you're running cavalry, this set hurts. You're going to want to put Windswept on around that, and then you're pretty much set from there. Like that's it. So if you get both of these sets on, early kingdom, you're going to have a blast. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to be running around like crazy fast because of the march speed, and you're going to be doing a lot of damage and have a lot of health and defense. It's really nice. You get the bonus of attack too. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Later on, you know, you can work to something like this. This is what I have on my Saladin. It's decent gear. I have the Trial of the Lost Kingdom, but I have not worked any other cavalry gear. Sometimes I'll use Saladin. I just don't really have accessories that I can swap over to him. I guess I could put the stuff on Constantine because he's my 6th March and he's kind of sitting around. But I did actually use Saladin in my last Arc of Osiris because I was running a little low on archers from our last KVK. But there you go. That's the equipment. That's what I would do with Pelagius. I think he's a great commander. Early game. Even in KVK Season 2, I've used him. After that, it kind of becomes just an easy target for players. And you're not going to have much success, especially in Ancient Runes or Altar of Darkness and Light versus Dark. You're going to get completely wrecked. But there you go, guys. That is what I think about Pelagius. I think he's a fantastic commander early game. I will definitely be working him on my new account that I'm going to start end of May, early June. I will 100% be using Pelagius. So keep an eye on that. Until next time, guys, have a good one. Later.